What's up? Let me ask you this. How do you fancy going to Mars, my friend? Did you know humans could be colonizing Mars as soon as 2050? Genuine. Welcome to the next rabbit hole of information, where I hold your hand and jump down into a crevice of interesting yet useless information. So, stay tuned to see what happens when we hit the ground, you bunch of gazebos. Let's get one thing straight. Space is massive. Absolutely huge. Bigger than your neighbour's garden, that's for sure. But out there, if you leave your hometown, there is another planet that has captured the human imagination for bloody ages. Mars, the red planet. A beacon of intrigue and the next frontier of human exploration. But how will we even tame such a world? How do we transform this cold, barren desert into a second home for humanity? The challenges are ridiculous and the stakes astronomical. If you thought putting a monkey down on red in your local casino was brave, you ain't seen nothing yet. The journey to Mars is not a short one. In fact, it takes bloody ages to get there. With current technology, the trip takes about 7 months. But of course, this depends on lots of factors like the speed of the launch, the alignment of Earth and Mars, and whether or not you end up taking a wrong turn when trying to avoid traffic. Up till now, spacecraft have taken anywhere between 128 days and 330 days to make the journey. The two fastest travel times from Earth to Mars are for the Viking 6 and Viking 7 spacecraft, which took 155 and 128 days, respectively. Respect to the Vikings. However, if we could travel as fast as the New Horizons spacecraft, which is famous for visiting Pluto back in 2015, we could potentially reach Mars in as little as 39 days, depending on the alignment of the planets and the 36,000 miles per hour speed that New Horizons reached. I wonder how good the in-flight entertainment system would be. However, before the echo of the human footprint can resonate on the Martian surface, we must first ready this alien world for our arrival. We will need to send a flock of unmanned drone rockets out there long before we plan our first trip with humans. These drones, laden with essential supplies, such as biscuits and tea bags, and maybe some other important things too. These unmanned missions, like the first ripples spreading across a still pond, would lay the foundation for the deluge of exploration to follow. The success of our Martian colonization hinges on a ceaseless ballet of rockets dancing back and forth between Earth and Mars, like a group of, well, ballerinas. But rocket-shaped, and not doing ballet. Haha. Anyway, yet this dance would not begin on Earth, but on our celestial neighbour, the Moon. The Moon, with its weaker gravity, serves as an ideal launch pad for our Martian voyages. You know something? I've always been suspicious of the Moon. It takes 25 to 30 times less energy to launch from the Moon than from Earth, making it a strategic pit stop in our interplanetary commute. We can imagine the future Moon acting as a waiting area for hundreds or thousands of humans awaiting their scheduled launch to the Red Planet, with tourist attractions and moon hotels to ensure the wait is a pleasant one. Imagine that. Disneyland on the Moon. I couldn't think of anything worse, to be honest with you. But each to their own. This continuous exchange of rockets between the two worlds would not only ferry necessary supplies and intrepid explorers across the interplanetary void, but also bring back precious scientific samples, the fruits of our Martian endeavours and special edition fridge magnets. In the grand endeavour of colonising Mars, one of the most profound dilemmas we face is the selection of those who will make this historic journey. The capacity for human life on Mars is limited, at least in the initial stages. So each seat on the spacecraft is precious, and the choice of who gets to occupy it is a decision of monumental significance. The individuals chosen must possess a unique blend of skills, resilience, and adaptability. They must be scientists, engineers, YouTubers, doctors, and more, capable of facing the unknown and turning a hostile environment into a new home for humanity. Yet, the selection is not solely based on skills and qualifications. These brave pioneers will be leaving behind their lives on Earth, their families, their homes, and everything familiar to them. Sounds like bliss to me, am I right? Yeah, so. The psychological and emotional toll of such a commitment is immense and must be factored into the selection process. Imagine leaving behind your local pub. Must be terrible. I feel for them. Once we land on Mars. Well, I say we. I ain't going nowhere, son. Let's say that. Once they land on Mars, survival is the next big challenge. Mars has an unbreathable atmosphere, extreme temperatures, and intense ionizing radiation. Sounds like the long hot summer of 2019, when we had that hosepipe ban. Ugh. However, Mars also has in situ resources such as underground water, Martian soil and ore, which will need to be used by colonists. For a Martian colony to truly thrive, it must achieve self-sufficiency, a state of independence where it can sustain its own needs. Wish my kids would hurry up and get that. Bloody hell. This means mastering the Martian elements to produce the essentials of life: air, water, beer, food, and power. The production of oxygen could be achieved through a process known as electrolysis, which can split Martian water into its constituent parts, hydrogen and oxygen. This would involve drilling into the Martian crust to access the hidden reserves of ice, melting it into water, and then applying our technology to release the trapped oxygen. Alternatively, we could employ a marvel of human ingenuity, a technology known as MOXIE, which can convert the carbon dioxide in the Martian atmosphere into life-sustaining oxygen. Hang on a minute, MOXIE? What the effing hell is that? Hang on, let me look that up. Oh, right. Yeah, I see. Interesting. Nope, no idea what that is. If anyone knows, let me know. Cheers. In the initial stages of colonization, every drop of water would be precious. We would need to recycle all water used by the astronauts, from the water they drink to the moisture in their breath, sweat, and even waste. Right, so what I'm saying here is that the first people that go all the way to Mars to set up a planet for human colonization, who have left behind their loved ones and independent coffee shops to have to drink their own piss. Bloody hell. Sounds lovely. Good luck to him. Food production on Mars would likely be a green affair, with plants grown in soilless hydroponic systems. The plants would not only provide food, but also contribute to the recycling of carbon dioxide into oxygen. Clever stuff. Oi, you. Whoever you are still watching this video. Thank you. Consider leaving a like and subscribing. If you got this far, I must be doing something right. You know what I mean? Cheers, pal. Anyway, harnessing the power of the sun is a promising solution for a Martian colony's energy needs. We could deploy ultra-thin solar panels attached to air balloons that float high above the surface, capturing sunlight unobstructed by the thin Martian atmosphere. However, Mars is a world of dust storms, and these solar balloons would need to be equipped with sensors that allow them to contract and descend to safety during the frequent extreme weather. I just made that bit up, by the way. Sounds like a good idea though, right? To ensure a constant energy supply, we would need to store energy in batteries on the ground. Derg. The solar panels would need to be spread out over the planet enough that one bad storm does not impact energy supply too much. In the face of adversity, we could turn a challenge into an opportunity, harnessing the power of the wind during storms to supplement our energy supply. With a Martian colony taking root, the question of governance emerges from the red dust. How will this new society be governed, and what laws will guide its inhabitants? Governments. Again. Really? One of the most critical issues would be that of reproduction. Until the infrastructure is robust enough to support childbirth and child rearing, reproduction would be completely prohibited on Mars. This could mean that all astronauts must be infertile or temporarily sterilized to ensure no babies are born on Mars. Wow, I'm coming round to the idea of signing up, to be honest. A planet without any children. Amazing. Resource management would be another crucial aspect of governance. In the early stages of colonization, resources would be as scarce as water in the Martian desert, and their distribution would need to be strictly controlled. This could mean implementing a form of rationing or a communal ownership model, where all resources are shared equally among the colonists, echoing the principles of a communist model. Decision-making on Mars would also present unique challenges. Traditional democratic models might be too slow and inefficient for a Martian colony, where decisions may need to be made swiftly in response to emergencies. Instead, a more streamlined decision-making process might be necessary, perhaps with a single leader or a small council of leaders making decisions on behalf of the colony. While there may be support from Earth, the colony would be a sovereign entity, independent from any Earth-based nation. The enforcement of laws would be another key issue. A Martian colony would need a way to enforce its laws and maintain order. This could involve establishing a police force, or perhaps using technology to monitor the behavior of colonists and enforce laws automatically. In the stark reality of the Martian landscape, trust in people's good nature will not suffice, particularly in the earlier decades of colonization. A close monitoring system, reminiscent of a dystopian Big Brother style, may be necessary to ensure the safety and survival of the colony. Finally, the relationship between the Martian colony and Earth would need to be defined, the pinnacle of a long-distance relationship, literally. Would the colony be considered a separate nation, or would it be subject to the laws and governance of an Earth-based country? I can't imagine the new Martian colony would want to take orders from Earth, you know what I mean? So, this is all well and good. But how on earth could we fund such an astronomical endeavour? No governments that exist today have even close to enough money to fund this, let alone the appetite to do so, considering there are so many crappy problems to solve here on Earth. So, who then? Well, the cosmic magnates, of course, the titans of wealth. The only plausible investors in the colonisation of Mars during a status quo scenario are the super rich adventure-hungry ones. Elon Musk is already channeling his riches into SpaceX, an interstellar vessel, its sails unfurled toward the rusty horizon. But the second scenario, a tempest brewing on Earth's horizon. If it came to light that the Earth is in imminent danger of total destruction from a meteorite or something similar, the whole world would need to pool their resources and efforts together to try to get as many of us to the red planet as possible in the time we would have left. The planet, weary from eons of human folly, gasps for breath. In this twilight hour, a clarion call echoes across continents, a planetary summons. It will be all hands on deck. Mars, that distant refuge, becomes our ark, a vessel to ferry souls across the cosmic abyss. And that's that then, my friends. Seekers of interesting yet useless information. There is not much you can do with all you have learnt here today. But now you know. End of video.